The Chinese men are on Pommel. 8-3, 8-1-5. They could use a big score here. Rongjie.
And they can get it right here. He has beautiful lines. Look at how extended his body is. We'll see the same basic element. He's doing one pommel work, and then he'll start to twist around and keep going on the end. Very, very difficult.
And his speed. Perfect body position as well.
Hardest part will probably be that scissor required element coming up right here. A little bit of a struggle. Oh, that's great. Big time gymnastics right there.
All right, so give me with the new code a guess at his score.
It's going to be probably somewhere around a 9.5. The problem is, once again, the scissor element, he actually incurred some deductions. But watch this. These are Russian elements, and he goes right to the end of the horse. Very, very tricky. It's something that you'll see the top gymnasts in the world being able to pull off a year, maybe 2 years down the road. He's already so good. His basic is so developed that he's able to do it right out of the box.
The Rongjie pommel horse score right on Tim Daggett, 9.5. Do some housekeeping here and go back. Sean Townsend's floor exercise number, a 9.3. Coming up, Tim Daggett tells us how it was to experience the outrigger seaweed wrap. More importantly, Morgan Hamm on floor. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, Beth Ruyek at the Blaisdell Center in Honolulu. The Romanian scores 8-6, 9-0, 9-2 so far on the still rings. This is the veteran leader of the Romanian team, Marian Dragulescu.
He's got a big routine planned. One of the hardest things to do in gymnastics is to hold a stagnant move like that and then push your body up a little bit. You'll see this a lot in the new code of points. They brought back the Iron Cross. One of the things they got right.
Where had it gone?
Oh, it just had no value. No reason to do it.
That was one of the signature moves of the still rings.
He does a double twisting, double somersault. A lot of gymnastics in front of it. Boy, barely got his feet on the ground there.
Boy, he really did have a lot in that dismount.
It's just so much gymnastics, so much strength that has to be done nowadays. By the time you get to the end, you're totally exhausted.
I think something we have to point out is that although we're seeing some mistakes and we're talking about how some of these athletes aren't quite there yet, give them a year. You're going to see a huge difference in a year's time.
Yeah, they'll catch up, no question about that.
9.45 for Marian Dragulescu. Now Morgan Hamm, he was the last second man to be placed on the Olympic team that went to Sydney. Boy, that was a dramatic night in Boston, Massachusetts at the Olympic trials. They said they couldn't envision going to the Olympics or not going together. And then that dream came true.
And imagine that this young guy actually was a finalist on the floor exercise at his first Olympic Games.
Ended up 7th in those games. His coach, Stacy Maloney, said, yes, 7th in the world at the Olympics on a bad day.
Tim, what's that like when you physically and emotionally peak? I mean, you've got this target date in your mind as a dream for so long, and then there's that hangover afterwards when it is over.
Yeah, I remember when we got done in '84, at the closing ceremonies, they showed a clip of us, and it occurred to me I hadn't even considered what I was going to do the next day or for the rest of my life. Literally, that was all I thought about. It was a wall. I ran as fast and as hard as I could to get to that wall, just like Morgan Hamm.
And now, Elfie, we're stuck with him.
Double laid out somersault, and
That's a great
right
exercise.
there, the reason why we'll see Morgan Hamm again at a world or an Olympic final on floor exercise.
That's what we're talking about.
U.S. men are big time into teamwork and competing together and winning and surviving together and fighting through it.
These guys said they learned a lot from being on tour with Alexei Nemov, the Olympic champion. One of those things, his professionalism and how he always went out and performed when it counted.
The floor exercise school from Hamm of the USA.
Tell you, these guys, they have a lot more gymnastics left in them.
9.5 for Morgan Hamm. The Romanian men, when they travel, they may not be able to find a proliferation of Romanian restaurants. The Chinese, no such problem. Here in Honolulu, there's a huge Chinatown, and the Asian influence in the Hawaiian Islands is profound.
Same basic exercise that we'll see a lot of. Zhao is so strong. Physically, it helps for the longer routines. One of the major trends in men's gymnastics is the pommel horse routines have just been getting longer and longer. Well, he meets a lot of the requirements, but certainly struggled at a few points. Legs came apart, and he doesn't have the best basic circle. So he ends up hiking his hips at times.
The horns signal a change in the rotation through 3. The United States still strongly in front. This is almost a blowout in progress. There's the score for Zhao 9-1-5. So, Tim, how was the outrigger seaweed wrap?
It was like scoring a 10 on the high bar at the Olympics, Al.
And the American men don't go to the spa. They go to the high bar as we continue in Honolulu. Outstanding event so far for the United States. They have a commanding lead, and Morgan Hamm has been the best overall gymnast. We're halfway through, 3 rotations down.
Rotation number 4.
United States with almost a 3.5-point lead.
And that is gigantic, Al.
Rongjie.
And he told us that watching his countrymen win the team gold medal in 2000 was all the motivation he needs. He says he's going to be on that team in 2004. And if he does landings like that, full twisting Kasamatsu right there. Beautiful landing, though.
Actually, men's vault has been affected as well from the new code of points. This one is now valued out of a 9.7. That's the maximum.
You know, it's unbelievable. The Chinese men's team actually made a T-shirt with all the faces of the gold medalists on it. And that sort of individual adulation and adoration is something that just has not existed in China. So that was a major step, and it tells you how deeply the nation felt about that gold medal success in Sydney. Here's Mike Dutka. He's coming off a 9.5 on floor, and that today is a major home run score.
Mike's biggest gymnastics accomplishment was on the 1997 World Championship team. Very, very exciting gymnast.
Throws a lot of wild skills.
Does some unique elements. At times has a problem controlling the power, like on floor exercise. Had too much at the end. Do a very difficult combination right here. This half Takamoto. Actually does an extra giant here.
Oh.
Signature move right there from Mike Dutka. That
Boy,
1.5 twist over the bar.
That really looks wild. When you pull it off, it's really spectacular.
1, 2, 3. Damn. Okay. Good idea. Yeah, that's too bad. He loses some bonus there and the fall. Last couple of times I've seen Mike in a competition, he's been too close to the bar on that element.
Finish this.
Now, Tim, again, he has the option of redoing the move or picking up after the move, correct?
Yes, he does. He really only gets an extra 1/10 of a point unless he does it in combination. So that is why he opted to not do it. Again.
Dutka, USA.
That's the way to fight. That's the way to fight. That's what we
Always
need.
had enough difficulty, always had enough
Always fight,
excitement
always
in his gymnastics, just needs to really be a little bit more consistent. He lets go of the bar, flies his body in the air, does 1.5 twists, and the trickiest thing, he's got to reach behind his head, lift his arms over his head and grab the bar. Very difficult, especially the way he does it. Can actually do it a lot easier than the way he does it, but when you go all out like that, you're on the